There's no white bread. The frame is... Okay, this is
Grandpa's house.
trees at Grandpa's house on Gratiot.
Old Uncle Johnny.
Okay, there's old Uncle Johnny. I think that was our red Ford that we put the kids into and drove away. But we didn't catch that part of the film because we were having some problems here, and we were lucky to get this thing even started now. Oh my heavens, they're cutting down the trees. Oh, I'm glad we drove away. The trees are coming down. Oh, here's Eugene and Katie. And their new baby now. Which baby would this be?
Joey.
It's kind of dark. We needed more light on this thing. Okay. Tommy. Oh, this is Tommy when he was home. And there's Irma and Beatrice and Patrick. And Grandpa's holding Beatrice. Tommy's putting all the stuff in the car. Yeah, oh, there's Beatrice and Patrick when they were little guys.
Normal children.
Evidently we had been visiting and we just left. And there's Tommy saying goodbye to Daddy and Uncle John. He's leaving now. This it's stated on this that this was the year 1965. Evidently Mama's not around to say goodbye, so I wonder, I'm not sure whether Mama was still alive at this point.
She comes in here.
Although she must have been, because Tommy went to Vietnam and Irma was in Germany when she died, so she must have been around, but she just wasn't there at the moment. Oh, here's Mary Ann in her nurse's uniform. This may have been her graduation from nursing. That's right, because Grandpa went to Lansing. She graduated from St. Lawrence. There was a young girl in a blue cap and gown in one of the other films, and I thought it was Mary Ann, but probably wasn't. I don't know who it was.
One was a graduation from high school, right?
Oh, I got that. That was beautiful. That was a white cap and gown. Okay, this is a... Oh, there's Bob Diamond and Catherine and Rose and Mama and that lady there now. Oh yeah, I believe that's Danny Conley's wife and daughter. I believe that's who it is. That was at their house. And I think that's Danny Conley laying on the ground, which is Mama's cousin. They must have brought Daddy's sisters to visit. Here we're back at the home. There's Eugene and his boys, Terry. Ah, there's Joey. There's Joey, because that's Eugene and Terry, and this must be Joey, the new baby, the third son. Yeah, and that's Mary. Yes, have a new baby. Little Joseph Francis. Three boys and two girls to come later on. Now we're back at the Weeses. I do believe that we are now seeing Maureen.
And that's Patricia.
Is that Patricia?
Yeah, because...
Okay. By golly, I was like, oh, there's the...
Jimmy.
That's me, I know, because that's Jimmy. But that dress I have on.
Yep, the pink flowers.
I know that's me. I still have that dress. That was a dress I wore on the very first date that I had with Daddy. That's me.
Rosemary.
There I am. I wore that dress on the very first date I had with my husband.
Oh, we're all older. That might have been Maureen. Look at, we're all bigger.
Yeah, there's...
Yep.
Yeah, Beth Ann is,
There's
that
Beth Ann,
was
yeah.
Maureen.
Yeah.
Because Beth Ann is born, and Maureen and Beth Ann were born at the same time. One in August and one in October. That was Maureen. It wasn't Patricia. No, I know. There's Maureen. Ah, and Patrick's older here now, too. So, okay, Beth Ann was born in 1963. So, there I am, and that's our red Ford. That must be Daddy that's there. Yeah. I remember we bought that car brand new. Dad had a friend whose wife worked for Ford, and she got a discount for us, and we were lucky to get that car. We were happy to get it. Our first car was a little Nash Rambler. It was blue and white, and then that was our second car. Oh, here we are. Now we're at Patricia's first communion. Oh, boy. Oh, Lord, it's those kids going out in the street. Oh. And look at that car, the wings on the back. Those wings were treacherous to children. This is Patricia's first Holy Communion. Oh. And that's the first communion dress. Didn't she look beautiful? And that's Anne Marie's daughter. It's a different daughter than the last one. I don't know Anne Marie's children's name. There's Patrick. There's Anne Marie's girl growing up now. See, this is one of her younger daughters that was there this time.
That's St. John's Hospital, isn't it?
I'm saying Anne Marie, but I mean Mary Claire. I believe her oldest daughter was Anne Marie. I'm not sure. That is that St. John's?
I think so.
7 Mile. Jiminy Crickets. I don't know about that. Johnny didn't leave us a list for this film, so we're guessing here. There's Patricia's first communion. I don't know what those pictures are in the middle of the building. This is Patricia's dressed in, oh, there's my husband, Jim. I don't believe it. He's got white socks on. Could you believe that?
Yeah, I believe it.
I believe it. He's got white socks. Daddy,
It
what are you
matches
doing
his
with
shirt.
it? Oh, men don't wear white socks. And there is Beth Ann. That's Daddy and Beth Ann. Now, whose graduation is
Joey.
this? Joey. Is that Joey?
Mm-hmm.
From De La Salle. You know something? That is blue that he's got on. I wonder if
that's
that
purple.
purple, yeah. Purple and gold. That was De
Purple
La
and
Salle's
gold.
colors. Purple and gold.
Yeah. Still is their colors.
Yeah. Maybe if you people get a tape recorder and when you're watching these films, tape record how you feel about everything. You can fill in the spots that I'm missing. Oh, must be the Bishop of Lansing because this is Mary Ann's graduation as a Mercy nurse. That's the Mercy cap she's wearing there. Yeah. St. Lawrence Hospital in Lansing, Michigan. And she is still working in that hospital to this day. That's her.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa and the family. There we go. Now Maureen will love these because nobody took pictures of Maureen, she said, when I was a little girl. Now there you are, Maureen. There you are. You're in the movies. Hey, when you see this, you'll love it. There you go. Thank heavens for Johnny. He caught everybody. There's the family. Yeah, it looks like one of Marianne's teachers. Marianne darkened her hair for her graduation. And there's Kathleen. Marianne was about 21 years old in this picture because she was 20 years old when Maureen was born. And she was about 21 when she graduated from nursing. And that was around 1965. That's right, that's when Johnny said this roll of film was, 1965.
Maureen was born in 63.
Yeah. But she was born in August of 63. She looks like she's just about 2 there. Yeah. Yeah. This would be the summer, June of 1965. There's Eugene.
Yes.
Okay, this is Dolores Kenny's wedding in New York. Dolores' father died when I was 11 years old. We went back east and we happened to arrive in New York on the very day that her father had died. And we stayed there for the funeral. My father gave her away at her wedding. Oh heavens, we're back in Minnesota now. This is Frank's boys. There's Anne. Hello, Annie. Now that, I believe, that's Mike.
Yeah.
I know Mike. That's Mama with Michael. You can always tell Michael. It's Pat and Phil I get mixed up. They were born in the same year. Now that's Francis. I don't get him mixed up either. There's Johnny.
Jean.
And that looks like Jean. Jean was the blonde. Yeah, that's got to be Jean. Ah, they must have been all 8 by then. And that looks like Father Stephen there. Okay, now, heavens, now we're at a wedding again. Whose wedding is this? This must have been a friend of Johnny's, because it was taken with his camera. And I would be a bit surprised if the girl or the boy were people that worked at MESC with him. I know the first wedding we only saw a little of, but maybe we'll see a bit more of it later. That was when Grandma and Grandpa went to New York for Dolores Kenny's wedding. This is a friend of Johnny's, who I don't know, but I venture to say it was a person that worked in the office with him. And since Johnny didn't leave any list on these pictures, we have to kind of guess it as we go along. I don't see anyone I recognize right now. And I don't know if it was the girl or the boy that worked with him. But they seem to be having a good time, and there's green. Green dresses would either indicate St. Patrick's Day or Christmas, or just her favorite color. They seem very happy. Oh my heavens. Do you know what? This has got to be an Irish wedding, because nobody swings like that, only the Irish.
It might be in fast motion.
No, that's as fast as they're doing an Irish set. My heavens, this is an Irish. Now there's somebody I recognize, and there's somebody I recognize. Oh my Lord, no. These are Irish people, and they're from Detroit. Now I recognize that man. You know, if Dad was here, he would know the names of these people. Now, whose wedding would this be? I can't. It's not somebody Johnny worked with. It's an Irish wedding. Because I recognize some of these Irish people. Yes. Oh, my heavens. Oh, my heavens. Yes, these are some of Daddy's boyfriends.
Our daddy?
Yes, our daddy, Jim Brannigan. These are people I recognize that were in the dance hall when we were young. And Daddy would know them well. That's got to be an Irish-American couple. Heavens to Betsy. I don't recognize the bride and groom, but I do recognize some of the people. Now there, that one right there, I recognize him. Oh, here we are, Maureen. Ah, Maureen, you're on the movies again. Marianne, Patrick, Kathleen, Patricia. That's Patricia. Oh, that's when Kathleen wore the big bouffant hairdo. Oh, Lord, when was that? That was back in the 60s. There you are, Maureen. Oh, heavens, I hope they get some good pictures of her. She always said, Mom, you didn't take any pictures of me. There she is. Queen of the Madonna. Patricia. There we go. And Maureen. Hey, you're the whole show here, girl. There's Grandpa. And Uncle John. That was Grandma's kitchen. Yeah, there's the sheep cooking bottle washer right there. Ah, turkey dinner. It must have been Thanksgiving. Joe's doing the dishes.
Francis, isn't it?
Francis, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's Francis. You recognize Francis. Look at this one. Oh, she's going to love these pictures. There's Kathleen with the bouffant hair. I remember that was the style at the time. Oh, there's that picture on the wall of Kennedy. Somebody took a real close-up. And that is, I think, Pius XII. There's you, Tommy and Irma, Beatrice, Teresa, Patrick, and I think little Thomas was in Irma's lap. Now we're back at the Irish Hall again. Oh, heavens, I wish the names would come to me. That wedding must have been around St. Patrick's Day. They were all dressed in green, or it was just because it was Irish that they picked green. But this went from the wedding to home and back to the wedding. I wonder if it's the same wedding here, but it's the Irish. Yeah, it is. Maybe he spliced some film in the middle here. I wonder who that girl is. You know, if I were to show this to some people at the Irish Club, they'd be able to tell me. Okay. This has got to have been sliced, because we go to the wedding, to Frank's house, back to the wedding, back to Frank's house, and there's the boys again. Now see if we can recognize. That looks like Father Steve.
Yeah.
That is Father Stephen. That's Mark.
Jane.
And Jane. Oh, there's Jane. And there's Jean.
That's Phil.
And that's Phil. Oh, that's Phil. I can tell Phil right away. And here's Eugene, Katie, Mama, Frank, Eugene. There's little Eugene. He's starting to grow up now. We had a lot of pictures of him as a baby, but he's starting to get to be a big boy now. And there's Katie. This is La Crosse, Wisconsin. We're back at Katie's house again. This is her parents' home in La Crosse. Oh, it's very light. There's Eugene. Hiya, Phil. There we go. Katie's here. That is Kathy. Oh boy, she's as plain as day. Kathy's growing up there. Gramma.
At the back door.
Yeah, she's at the back door of the Gratiot house. She used to feed the pheasants. They'd come up on the porch and she'd feed them. There's Johnny in the back behind Mama's house. Before that church was built, it was just a big forest back there, and the pheasants would come up on the back porch, and the birds and stuff, and Mama would feed them on the back porch. Okay, Louise family again. Now that must be Maureen they're holding. Oh heavens, that's myself. And there's Jimmy, Peggy, Beth Ann, Rosemary. You know what this is? This is Rosemary's first Holy Communion. Rosemary and Patrick, the day they made first Holy Communion. That's right. Yes, there they are, the two of them, but their heads are turned. Turn back here, boys. There's Patricia, Mary. There's Rosemary. There's Patrick. They made first Holy Communion together. There's myself. I was expecting Eileen at the time. Daddy, John. There's, oh yeah, we had the party at my house after their first communion. There we are, all the way down.
You're expecting
No, I was
Teresa.
expecting Teresa. There's Eileen in Daddy's arms. That's Eileen in Daddy's arms. We had the party at my house, and we had all the Weises and all the Brannigans. There's Maureen. Yeah, and we had Joe's brothers came. Tony came with his wife and children, and Vincent came with his wife and children. There's Eileen. Yeah. And there's, Eugene and Katie came with all their kids. I remember the first communion party after Rosemary's first communion was at my house, and we had everybody. Joe, turn that baby around. Whose baby is that? At Daddy's home. There's Francis. Mary. Oh, this is Kathleen's first communion. Now, is the baby Maureen?
No,
Oh, there's Maureen.
That's probably Mary Ann's baby.
You think so? Then maybe that's Monica.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Kathleen's
Oh
graduating.
yeah, because there's Maureen and that's Monica. It's gotta be, oh, Maureen's crying. This is Kathleen's graduation. Lived in the first
She's the
communion.
first great-grandchild?
Who?
Monica?
Monica was the first great-grandchild, yeah. Yeah. There's Maureen. It's Kathleen's graduation, and that's Monica. Kathleen's graduating from Regina. Kathleen and Marianne both graduated from Regina High School. Trying to figure out what year did Kathleen graduate? Oh, she's 62, 63, probably about 68. Somewhere around 68. 67, 68. In a minute.
Mary Ann.
Yeah, she's 67 or 68. Yeah. Hello, Maureen. There you are. You're in the movies again. Yeah, I wish we knew it was coming, but Johnny didn't leave us any forwarding on these films here. Oh, this is Tommy. Tommy and family home on vacation again. There's Tom and Irma. And there's more babies now. Let's see. Oh, yeah. His was Patrick, Beatrice, Teresa, and Thomas. There they are. This was before they went back to Germany and she had Christopher. I think she lost a baby between Thomas and Christopher, too. Yeah. Irma looks good. She always looks good. Very pretty girl. And somebody's always coming or going. Yeah. Okay, here's another. Oh Lord, we're going to go through with this. Grandma had 36 grandchildren. I got 43. Oh. It'll be first communions, confirmations, weddings, celebrations, all over again. And here's the sisters.
Beatrice's first communion.
Now this is sisters I don't recognize, so.
Beatrice's first communion.
Oh, it's Beatrice's first
Yeah.
communion. Okay, now where's
There
Beatrice?
she is right there.
That's her.
The fourth one.
The fourth one. Okay.
Behind the girl with the flowers.
Yeah. Okay. This was in this country, but it was probably down, they were stationed in, there she is, there she is. They were stationed in New Mexico, was it? They were stationed in the Panhandle. I remember in the Clovis, was it New Mexico or Texas? No, Clovis, New Mexico. What's the state with the Panhandle down there in the west?
Oklahoma, Texas.
It was down near Texas. I remember they were Clovis, New Mexico, I think it was. And I remember Mama went down to see them down there. Apparently Johnny did too. There's Beatrice, smiling with the lovely curls. And the sisters they had there. I don't know what order that is, but they certainly were lovely in their beautiful habits. There's Irma. And Mama and Beatrice. Mama and Johnny must have gone down for Beatrice's first communion. There's Patrick, Tommy, Irma, Teresa, and little Thomas. There's little Thomas. It's Beatrice and Mama. Beatrice was a beautiful girl, and she loved to horseback ride. I remember when our family went out west, we took the kids to camping in the mountains. We took Tommy's kids, and Beatrice loved to go horseback riding. Here's Teresa. Teresa lives in Arizona now. She's married and has 2 boys, I think. Patrick is married and has 2 children and lives in California. Thomas lives in Arizona, and Teresa lives in Arizona, and Beatrice is in California, and she's married now. There's Auntie Irma. There's Johnny. Johnny and Beatrice. They gave the camera to someone, but they not exactly haven't got the quite in focus there, but at least we can see them. Oh my heavens, there's himself. Himself. The robe. Oh! Oh my heavens, there's Peggy and Maureen and Beth Ann. There's our Ford, Patrick, Jimmy, and our Avion. That was our home on wheels for 4 years. We literally lived in that in the summertime when we went to stay with Daddy. You know, we are now in at least year 68. Because I didn't think we put that on the red car. I thought we only pulled it on Daddy's truck, but he's got it on the red car there. On the Ford that we had. There's Francis helping him put it together. And who's the baby?
Teresa.
Is that Teresa?
Yep.
Yeah, Teresa was... I know this much, that we bought that trailer. And we said goodbye to Mama when we went away on our first trip together down to southern Illinois. And we flew back from that trip.
Lori Bartow.
There's Lori Bartow, my babysitter. We flew back from that first trip to my mother's bedside just before she died. Yeah, that's Teresa. And Teresa was a newborn baby. She was 7 or 8 months old. That was in July. And my mother had the heart attack in the... Oh, there's Annette! Oh, God rest her soul, there's Annette. My mother took the heart attack in the middle of August and died on the 1st of September. I think we were getting ready to go away for the first time. Ah, yes, here it is. Mama's funeral. There's Father George Brown, who grew up on Springfield with us. There's Dad, and
That's when she was transferred to this
that was
grade.
this was not the year Mama died. This was a few years later when she was transferred from one spot to another. George Brown came to say the prayers for us. Okay. There's Mama's coffin. That was the second time she was buried. The first time she was buried across the street on the corner, and then when they put up these statues of the Stations of the Cross, they wanted Mama buried in front of the one where Jesus is placed in his mother's arms. Is that me? Yes, it is. My heavens, don't even know myself. And we moved Mama across the street in front of the station, the 13th station. And the 3 graves across the street were given to Mary and Joe. And Lord knows, Eugene, Johnny, Mama, and Daddy are in the graves in front of that station. And Mary, Joe, and Patrick are in the graves, the original graves across the street. Now this looks like double exposure here. Oh, this is the kids in Ireland. Oh, that's Katrina and Emer and Podrick and Gary in Ireland. Oh, this is double exposed in Ireland. That's Uncle Patrick. Or not Uncle, Cousin Patrick. That's Cousin Patrick in Ireland. And that's Mary, his wife. He was a policeman, she was a teacher. That's Johnny. And that's their first 4 children. They had 6. There's Emer when she was a little girl in the blue sweater. That's Emer. And Gary. Oh, the little one is there too. The little one would be Trace. trays is there. The only one I think that isn't there is the baby, Podrick. Oh, these are some of the relatives in Ireland. There's Catherine
Frank.
and Frank.
And
Okay,
Fred.
now we're back in this country, and
Cecilia.
is that Cecilia? See, and this is all double exposed. I don't know why, but it is. I don't know what the other exposure is. It looks like it's a garden of some kind. Here we are. There's Gramma. And Catherine and her kids and Frank. Okay. There's Anne. Anne's quite grown up now, and Kitty, and I think that's Father Stephen.
Mark, yep.
That's Mark. I say Father Stephen so much now. Gee, there's two. There's Johnny in Ireland. There's one of the twins. That's my Uncle Patrick's daughter, and I think that's Kathleen. Kathleen and Veronica were his youngest of his 8 children. They were twins. Oh, this is terrible to have the Irish ones. That's the twins right there. That's Veronica, and that's Kathleen. And is that Sean? Or it might be Francis. I never met Francis. It might be. Oh, that looks like Auntie Anne. Oh my heavens, that's Auntie Anne. Yes, that's Auntie Anne. That's Uncle Patrick's wife. But that's one of her sons, and I have a venture it's either James or Francis. It looks like one of the older boys. I bet you it's Francis. Because I don't recognize him so well, and I never met Francis. He was deceased but I know his wife Bridie real well. Yeah, that's Ireland. Oh, it's terrible that they were double exposed. Now these are very light, and I can't recognize exactly where this is at.
Gratiot Avenue.
Well, there we are, Assumption Grotto School. The old school that was torn down. Okay, we're at a First Communion again.
That's mine.
That's yours?
Yep. Michael Hartnett.
Oh, Michael Hartnett. Oh, he was in that wheelchair, and he was a Cub Scout, and I was his den mother, and Dad used to throw the wheelchair in the back of the truck and put him in the front of the truck and bring him back and forth to all the Cub Scout activities. God bless his soul.
There I am.
There you are. There you are. That's your first Holy Communion. Yeah? And who made First Communion with you? Was there anyone in the neighborhood?
1970. It was May 1st, 1970. No, I think I was the only one in the neighborhood.
At that time. Remember how we used to get together at the house afterwards and have a little party and all the neighborhood kids would come over?
There's Mary Konwinski there with the real short hair. She got married on the same day I did too.
Really?
Yep.
There's the rectory. The church. Oh, boy, this is like reliving life all over again. There's the Boy Scouts. Oh, that parish was so full and so active, and oh, it was the place to be in those days. Yeah, see, Johnny knew that if he came into church, he wouldn't have the lighting like he did. He tried to stay where the light, he could get some lighting. The altar looks beautiful there, though, doesn't it? Yeah, here's Daddy.
His Irish camera bag.
And Irish, yeah. And here comes Michael.
He was pretty accident prone.
Yeah, he was a rascal. He was a rascal. Good little kid, but always seemed to.
Get hurt.
Oh, guys, I don't know. Here's Peggy. There you are. You had your hair rolling curls. And remember we went over to the gym and you had your picture taken with the photographer over there. And I remember it was your first communion that I did a lot of the work. And Dad and I set up the gym and we had the social afterwards and we arranged for the class picture. And because the nuns had given up on all of this. They said the parents had to do it, and I remember Donald Sansatera and myself. We did all the work. There's Maureen and Mary. Oh, Grandpa Brannigan. And there's Beth Ann and Teresa. Yeah, and Grandpa Brannigan was living with us then. James Kevin Brannigan. There he is. That's Francis Joseph Boyle. That's the other great grandpa. There's Teresa and Eileen and you and Beth Ann. I wish this was darker. So nice. Oh, I'm so happy we got a picture. Okay, this is we're making shift here again now. It's Mary Ann and okay, we got another First Communion. And Katie. We're doing this now this is February of 2004. And these are all Johnny's films that he gave to Paul. And Paul has put them all together. And he spliced them all together. He's been working on them. There's Maureen. This is Maureen and Beth Ann. There's Beth Ann. There's Beth Ann waving a paper in her hand. And Maureen. Now this was 1971 then. If yours was 1970, right Peggy?
Right.
Okay. And there's Katie. And there's Kathy. No, is that Kathy?
Oh.
No, that's Renee, because Kathy made her First Communion the same year.
Kathleen
So
and Mary
Kathy's a little older than that. That's Renee. Oh yes, that's Renee, I can tell. That's little Renee. Because she's younger than Kathy. And Kathy made her First Communion the week after Maureen and Beth Ann.
Kathleen.
Patricia. And there's Patricia. Yeah, there's Eugene. Eugene and Terry's got to be in here. This is Mary. That's Patrick. Grandpa. Mary Ann. There's Francis with the sideburns. That was the end thing in those days. Kathleen. Mary. Yeah. They had a party at Mary's house for Maureen's, but we didn't get to go to it. Daddy and I were cleaning up the gym and doing a lot of work around, and Beth Ann got locked in the closet. We ended up at McDonald's, but I know the rest of the family all went to Maureen's. They had a big turkey dinner over there, I think. And there's Beth Ann and Jimmy. Dad and I had the responsibility of putting on the social and decorating the gym and taking things down and all the work that went into that First Communion.
Joey Shaner and Jimmy in their baseball outfits. Beautiful.
Yeah, Joey Shaner and Jimmy had Joey was one of 9. He lived down the street. We had 64 children on our block there.
You're quite big back there, Mom. You expecting Terry?
There's Dad. That was either Terry or Michael that was coming then.
Oh, 71.
71, that was Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Terry. Yeah, Terry's, what, 30? How old is Terry now? 30? 71,
It'll be 33.
33 in July. Yeah, this was May, and Terry was born in July. There's Renee and Maureen, and yeah,
Eileen and me.
Eileen and you. Yeah. Maureen and Peggy. Now there's Johnny and Patricia and Marianne. There's Eugene. Okay, now I think this was this was either the next day or it might have been the very next day that Kathy made her first Holy Communion. See that dress that Rosemary has on? She made that herself.
I remember that.
She was taking sewing at the Singers, and she made that dress herself. And now oh, this is funny. I remember this one. Eugene had this motorbike, and he was riding up and down. We're on Thorn Tree in Grosse Pointe at Eugene's house. And wait till you see who rides the motorbike. You'll get a big laugh out of it. There's Eugene. And there's the kids playing baseball. Eugene and Johnny and Dad. Eugene was in the anesthesia department at this time. He was a full-fledged anesthesiologist now, working at St. John's. I don't know if he was... there he comes! No, that was only one of the kids. I think the funny one is still to come yet. Yeah, that was one of the kids. They're playing baseball. That's all the family. And I believe, yes, we're going to see Kathy. There she is with her first communion outfit. She made her first... Remember I said there were 5 girls born the same year as Beth Ann. And this was the year that all 5 of them made their first Holy Communion. There was only 3 in Detroit here. Tommy was out west and Frank was in Minnesota. And they had Ann and Teresa. There you go. There's Kathy's first Holy Communion. And we were all invited over to the house to see, for their first communion party. And she made her first Holy Communion at Star of the Sea. They lived which was right behind their house. All Frank's children were here.
Jean.
That's Jean. And there's Jane. Oh heavens, there's so many of them. There's Ann and Peggy. Is that Sissy and Kitty and Rosie? Now who's the little one in the swing? It's one of mine, I know, but I can't tell if it wasn't you. I think it was Teresa.
And there are 2 of them.
Yeah.
2, me and Teresa. Look at him.
Now, is that Mark?
Yeah.
That's Mark. Father Stephen?
Who's hitting him?
Who's belting him? It's not one of ours. It must have been a neighbor of Eugene's. That's Father Stephen. Bless his heart and soul. There's Jane. There you are, Jane, your movie star. I'm glad we have some pictures of you too, because you were another one that was...
That's Uncle Frank's house, isn't it?
That's Uncle Frank's house in Minnesota, yeah. We were at Eugene's before, I believe, but this is Frank's. Now there's Catherine. But we were there, because those are my children. That's Jimmy, Peggy, and Mark. Is that Eileen that Catherine's holding, or Teresa? There's Beth Ann. It's Eileen.
Yeah.
That's Eileen. Yeah. When I get up close, I can see Eileen. Teresa must have been. Teresa was a little bit younger than that yet, but she was born by then, I guess. Mark. Oh. Kitty, Johnny, Rosie, Eileen, Jane, Peggy, Mark. Hello, Mark. Jane, Jean, Beth Ann, Kitty, Ann, Eileen, Rosie, Cecilia, Catherine. And that's Frank's house in Minnesota. That's Ann.
Aunt Catherine's
Do you know
Christmas.
why Teresa is not there? Teresa and Michael were at home. Catherine had you.
That's right.
That's when Terry was born.
That's right.
And you 4 kids went, 5 of you, went to stay at Aunt Catherine's. And she kept you for 4 or 5 weeks.